I said, if there's anyone out there that can't hear me, would you please raise your hand? Oh! Okay, I'll try. Okay. Good evening, everybody. I am one of the four Joseph Paul Sheritons who are part of this group. I am my father, and he's Daddy. That's what we call him then. That's what we call him now. He was always Daddy. Then there's me. I'm the junior. And then we have the third, who is Paul, and we have the fourth back there with the Indian haircut. I was invited by Pat tonight to make comments as the patriarch of this family group. I thought it might be a good idea if I would check to find out just what a patriarch is. So I checked with Wikipedia, and it said, a patriarch is a man who exercises autocratic authority over an extended family.
Whoa!
That certainly doesn't apply to me. Heck, I don't even exercise autocratic authority in my own home. I requested it a long time ago, but Alice said no. So my distinction to you, speaking to you tonight, is not as a patriarch, simply as the oldest person here.
Yo!
Okay. No secret, Romaine, I am 3/4 of a century old. That's the way it goes. Now, if I am to be recognized as the oldest, I will also like to recognize the youngest, Miss Riley McFarland. Would you please stand up and be recognized?
Hi, ladies.
So there you have it. You have me and you have Riley. We're the bookends. Everyone else falls somewhere in between. I want you to know how lucky you are because I prepared very extensive comments about tonight. You lost me. No, when I came, they were all in here. Everything I had was in here. This is a marvelous document. And I have to admit, I came close to a teardrop or two when I looked through it. But for Mary Ann and Franny who put it together, this is a marvelous.
Bravo! Bravo!
I will tell you that age has its disadvantage. I mean, for my younger brother, Dick, he memorized his comments. I have to write mine down and read it. That's the way it goes. But age has its light moments, too. In fact, recently, Emily Diorio noticed that her mother, Courtney, had a few gray hairs.
Wow!
She asked Mother why some of her hairs were gray, and Courtney said, well, every time you do something wrong or make me unhappy or angry, one of my hairs turns gray. And Emily said, is that why Brandy has so many gray hairs? It's not that Alice is not working at it. She came home the other day and told me she had just spent 2 hours at the beauty parlor and asked me to post her next appointment on my calendar. And I said, what did you do in the last appointment? And she said, oh, that was only for the estimate. Okay, seriously, none of these things really happened. They came off the internet like everything else.
Oh, come on.
I would like to first, you think I'm finishing, I'm saying first, to thank Franny for taking the initiative to hold that first Sheridan reunion back in 1999. She and Doug and their family hosted that first reunion in the hills of Tennessee, and it was a gigantic success. Everything was right about it, and we all had wonderful memories of it. And since then, Rosemary and Romaine hosted one in the hills of Pennsylvania, and the Derrickson family in the hills of Western Ohio. And this weekend, I can't be profuse enough in thanking Pat and Wendy and the entire entourage for having this wonderful I haven't had this much fun in a long time. The thing about it is the way they delegate. I can't wait for this thing later on here tonight. tonight. Okay. These reunions have included all the descendants of Joseph and Louise Sheridan and their 5 children. Joseph and Louise met in Jeanette, and this is in the book, I know, got married in 1931. And shortly thereafter, at April 1932, my brother Bill was born, followed by myself, Danny, Rosemary, and Dick. Bill and I were born in the height of the first Great Depression, and all of us were influenced to some degree by that depression and World War II, which ensued. And it seems ironic now that I'm on the other side of life that we're now experiencing the second worst economic decline in the history of our country. We are proud of Joseph and Louise. We thank them for our very existence and our genes and the values that they bestowed upon us. And we pray that we will use wisely the knowledge and character that they have handed down to us and to many others of you in this room. For those of you who have become part of today's gathering through marriage with the Sheridan family, we hope, well, I lost my place, okay. We hope that the Sheridan family traits are melded with those in your family to create unique individuals capable of coping with the challenges of today's world. And if my count is right, there are about 22 other family names involved in this gathering. And coincidentally, there are only 22 of us here who have the name Sheridan, so we're in a minority in this group. Don't hold me to the accuracy of those numbers. I think they're pretty close. I have some regrets, that I never traced our ancestry back and the genealogy of it. There have been notable Sheridans. Philip Sheridan, the Civil War general, and Richard Sheridan, for whom Dick was named, an Irish playwright. And I can't trace our ancestry back there. But one thing I can do is go back as far as the people that I actually knew, my grandparents. I've handed out to you. I've passed out to you a picture of Morris Kelly, who is our mother's father. This picture was taken in April 1905. And to us, he was Grandpa Kelly. In the chart below the picture, you can see that Grandpa Kelly was born June 14, 1864. Unfortunately, I don't have the birthdates of the other grandparents. But Mary Hess, Morris's wife, was ill, and my other grandparents lived in Scranton, Pennsylvania. When Morris was born, the Civil War was at its apex and ended 1 year later, much to the exploits and heroism of General Philip Sheridan. So if we look back at our existence, where it started in this group, not going back to Adam and Eve, but back just to Grandpa Kelly, that's 145 years of span of time from 1864 until 9. I know if you know, Grandpa Kelly was the architect and developer of Spanish Villa, and he developed that with Spanish architecture that he fell in love with while he and his family went to Florida during the winters. Philip Sheridan and Catherine Cannon were married and lived in Peckville, a small town in Scranton in northeast Pennsylvania, which is the anthracite gold region. They had 3 sons, Bill, who was killed in an automobile accident in his teens, his brother, Uncle Frank, and his wife, Ann Sheen. And I know everyone loves Ann Sheen and Uncle Frank.
Yeah.
I didn't know my other grandparents that well, but to me, Grandpa Kelly was a very special person, and I idolized him. And Alice and I are particularly grateful that we are still around and healthy to be grandparents to our grandchildren, and we hope that we're making some positive contribution to their lives. Now, while Alice and I claim to be of Irish ancestry, that's not the whole story. While our mother's maiden name is Kelly, it's spelled with an EY, and it does not have any Irish content. Morris's ancestry is Dutch-German, and his wife Mary is German. Hess. German Hess. So if you take a look at the insurance companies that he represented, Prussian National, German Fire Insurance, and Aachen of Munich, Germany. So I'm quite sure that Philip and Catherine are all Irish. So the ancestry that we contribute to all of you is Dutch, German, and Irish. Now, a little on the downside. When Alice and I were in Ireland a couple of years ago, our tour guide told us that every county in Ireland characterizes its people in a certain way. Oh, these are merchants. These are artistic people. So I asked her, where does the Sheridan family come from? The Sheridan family comes from Cavan County in Ireland. And what are the Sheridan family people noted for? And it took a long time to answer. They are known for being mean and cheap. So much for our heritage. But so what? Mean and cheap.
Could have been mistaken.
Okay. I said before, I haven't had this much fun in a long time, and I want to conclude with another thank you to Pat and Wendy. It's a wonderful place, a fabulous place to have it, and they did an outstanding job. And give them one more round of applause.